So we'll start with Obama in Cairo. It was really just kind of embarrassing to have the leader of the free world so confused about just basic facts. I loved it. It was like the Israelis, the Palestinians, and the Arabs. Whoa, the Israelis, the Palestinians. So now the Palestinians are a completely different people group. Although through history they've been Arabs, but now they're not. Okay. And since the whole world is trying to figure out how to solve this crisis this week, I came up with my own idea. Since there are different types of Arabs, let's do DNA testing, and whatever Arab people group the Palestinians prove to be from, then they can go back to whatever country they originally came from. And for the Palestinians that claim to be from the line of the Philistines, so according to history, when the Philistines brought Goliath to fight against the Israelites, they told the Israelites, bring out one man to fight against Goliath, and if Goliath wins, then you will be our slaves forever, and if you win, then we'll be your slaves forever. So if really these people are the Philistines, I think it's pretty simple that they should keep their commitments. Honestly, for the Palestinian Arab people that really do just want to live a normal life, I really wish that there was something simple that we could do for them. But unfortunately, because their society is so potent with hatred and terrorism, it's not as simple as just pulling out a few bad apples. The other thing about Obama's speech was the overall deafening silence when he made statements like, denying the Holocaust is just mean, hating Jews is just not right. And all the Arabs sitting there are like... And then he's like, and the Palestinians need a homeland. Yeah! But at one point, I was a little confused how he managed to compare the Palestinian situation, the Holocaust, and black slavery in America. So now a group of people living in a land ruled by their own people democratically is somehow being compared to millions of Jews uprooted from their homes and brought to camps, killed there in various ways, or black people who were kidnapped from their homes and put on a ship in chains, and if they were lucky to survive months of sitting in their own waste, arriving in America and then sold to be slaves for the rest of their life, that is somehow compared to today's situation. You got me there. So Netanyahu spent the week preparing his own speech, while Iran was proving to the world that you can, in fact, re-elect yourself. And then on Sunday, Netanyahu gave his speech, which consisted of Israel is willing to consider a Palestinian state if A, the Palestinians will recognize Israel as a legitimate state, B, it will be demilitarized, in other words, no weapons allowed in the area. To translate that for you, Israel is willing to consider a Palestinian state when hell freezes over and Louisiana promises to eat kosher for a year. Because Palestinians don't want to recognize Israel's existence. And at least for the leaders, their main objective for having their own country would be so that they could gain weapons to bomb us. So the speech was in fact Netanyahu's reason why he doesn't support a Palestinian state, even though he was saying, I'll support it, because he knows that those basic factors will never be met. But in the meantime, the White House is happy because they heard Netanyahu say Palestinian state, and that's all that matters for now. Pressure's off for a minute. And I have to comment on a side note, I don't think Obama's the Antichrist, okay? But I also don't understand if the Antichrist is supposedly supposed to bring peace in the Middle East, why this is such an aspiration for so many U.S. presidents. But something that also should be considered why Bibi Netanyahu would be so nervous to be the one who brings about a Palestinian state. The last two leaders in Israel who gave away land are currently dead. Rabin was shot within months of signing the Oslo Accords, and Sharon was dead within a year of evacuating Gaza. So when your life is not on the line, I think people tend to feel more generous with other people's land. On a more domestic note, I wish that you could have seen the footage. The mayor of Jerusalem decided that a parking lot was going to be open on Shabbos, that being Saturday. And the reason he wanted it open was because everybody has to park all over the sidewalk and everything on Saturdays, which is very illegal. And so he wanted to help everybody have a place to park by opening up a parking lot and having it free for people to park on Saturdays. So the Orthodox were out in riots. And I really wish you could see the footage, because when these people get up in a hissy and their hats start falling off and their curls start flailing around and they're rioting and it's a big mob, With all due respect, the whole thing somehow reminded me of a mosh pit. Because again, there's so many things wrong with this country that a couple Gentiles working a parking lot on Saturday just doesn't seem to merit this amount of energy. They were actually going to do the Friday night Sabbath meal prayer thing out in the streets to protest this parking lot. God forbid someone should park there. They need to park 10 feet over where it's illegal. Unfortunately, the mayor has caved and the parking lot will remain closed. So if you want to be a good citizen on Saturday, ride your bike.